Hello, everyone, and welcome to Subconscious Sundays. I am one of your hosts, Reverend April Kling Meyer, and here also is the wonderful and powerful Mr. Timothy Freeman,
As
hypnotist.
powerful like we all are. We're all more inherently powerful than we realize.
Yes, I'd like to think that you, Timothy, are in full awareness of your power and potential. It's how
Not
I
all
like
the
to
time,
imagine you.
like all of us. Well, that is
Well,
a really interesting segue into our subject, isn't it?
it truly is. Today we'll be talking about discerning truth, which, as you know, is a pretty heady, um, it's a pretty thick volume of things we could say. And
Yeah, 30 minutes here. We're going to do our best to touch on this giant
yes,
subject that's very important.
we're going to tell you the complete and absolute truth of existence in 30 minutes. Well, I guess 28 minutes because, we're about 2 minutes in. But before we do that, we want to go over our usual guidelines with you because it's important that we go over the things that really matter about how we like to do subconscious Sundays and set the intention of what it is we're here to do. And believe it or not, Tim, I don't have those in front of me right now. I can't
Hey, no
even find
problem.
them. But I'm going to go from
That's
memory
great.
and say that the first one, the first intention that we set is that we're here to have fun.
Yes, we want this to be a laid back way to discuss some topics that are big and important. And we know that the brain learns better when we're having fun. So we do want this to be kind of fun and laid back and open and inviting. Um, we welcome any questions that you have or ideas to respectfully bring to the conversation. Please feel free to use the chat. Um, and also, this is our intention is for this to be kind of a weekly ritual for all of us here. When we gather our shared community together and share some ways that we work with the subconscious mind to hopefully, help all of us here.
I actually have my notes
Uh,
in front of me now, so I can go over the
Okay,
core values,
great.
which is to be respectful of everyone's individual journey. Not one of us is going to be having the same dream, so to speak. I'll be talking about that in just a moment. That we're rooted in compassion for ourselves and others so that we completely exclude ourselves from value judgments or judgments of any kind, and that we're promoting growth and expansion, and that we're not just having a bro moment between the two of us, which we're happy to do any old time, but that we're creating a supportive community through the friendship that we share.
Yep, awesome. Um, Thank you. So,
Thank
discernment
you.
of truth.
Yeah. So, this is how I've come to understand it through something that I was told in seminary. And I know when I went over this with you before the show, it was something that you had heard before, but it bears repeating. And it is also one of those anecdotes that gets thrown around a lot. So here it would apply to the study and understanding of the concept of truth. And I'm going to refer to it as the elephant analogy. So you can take three people and blindfold them and take them into a room where stands an elephant. And these blinded folded people, one of them could be holding the tail and they could say, "This is a rope." And the second one of them could say, it could be holding the leg of the elephant and say, "This is," and the third person who would be holding the trunk would say, "This is a snake." And all three of them would be kind of off the mark, wouldn't they? They wouldn't be really grasping the truth. They'd be grasping the elephant, but they wouldn't be grasping the truth. And if they all three were to share with, instead of making an assumption, if all three of them were to share what it is that they were seeing, feeling, hearing, smelling, maybe even tasting if they're brave enough, they would all come to the conclusion collectively that they are in fact in the room with an elephant, the elephant in the room, so to speak. Ah, anyway, But I like to think of our subconscious is as a portal to collective consciousness. It's a portal to that consciousness that we shared back in our hunter gatherer days when we would sit around the fire and dream and imagine where our prey would be when we would go on our hunts. And those needs to be quite that connected within our subconscious, we've evolved away from those, or one could argue that we've all evolved away from those from the technologies that we've developed, including, but not limited to, fire and wheels. Not just talking about technologies that exist on screens. You know, technology goes all the way back to the Stone Age, where we were developing tools. So the more that technologies and tools that we've developed as humanity, the less we've come to rely, maybe not need, but the less we've come to rely on that collective consciousness that is available to us through our subconsciousness. I'm of the personal belief that dreams are a way of connecting us to one another in various ways, various levels, and in various forms. I am of the belief also that paradox within paradox, which is two opposing truths that both seem to be true, within those is the potential for miracles. This includes the Course in Miracles definition of miracles, um, which includes forgiveness and atonement, a previous episode, as a portal to miracles as well. So the paradox, for example, of forgiveness is that we are wronged and yet we love anyway. And that there are a lot of different ways that paradox can present itself for us. Um, One example that came up for me earlier today, even, was that when we are moving along our life paths, we encounter obstacles and we encounter discouragements and we encounter rules that forbid us from continuing the direction that we hope to go. And in that way, it seems like these things are obstructing us from our path, but in fact, they are forming our path in the ways that we have to maneuver through and alchemize. And when I say alchemize, alchemy meaning turn shit into gold. you know, um, the way that we take what life throws at us and turn it into something useful and meaningful. So that too contains paradox. And I think that when we are seekers of truth, the only truth that we can truly grasp with both hands is that we are very limited in our perceptions. Our brains are highly powerful and highly useful organs. We may not be using them to their full potential, but even at their full potential, they have their limitations. We cannot possibly know everything, and our perspective is always changing. So the only real truth that we can truly grasp with both hands is that we really cannot know anything. And
I
that
might add something to that
paradox.
too here, April. Just kind of a you all might know that our conscious mind versus our subconscious mind. Our conscious mind is kind of like the flashlight that where it's focused on it can handle something like 7 to 9 bits of information at any one time. It's just it's a limited focus. It's very useful
Mhm.
for us to have developed all the technologies that we have developed. But the real program that is running is in our subconscious mind, and that's part of what the you know when we say we're not using our full brain's potential. So by
Mhm.
connecting to our subconscious mind more often, I think we tend to end up using more of our brain that we're given. Just wanted to
Absolutely. Yes.
toss that in there.
Yeah, definitely. And even still, even yet, we still cannot know everything, but we can get closer and closer all the time, the more open that we are. I think that truth is like smoke. The more we try to grip it, the more it floats away from us. Really the
Well
only thing
said.
we can hold on to is that we cannot possibly know anything to be completely true and 100%. Now, there are a couple of different very, very popular spiritual tomes that inform my work and that probably inform the work of anybody who could be watching this. The Toltec wisdom of Don Miguel Ruiz that the Ruiz family shares with us, and Course in Miracles. And what those two bodies of work share in common is that they essentially teach a philosophy, a theory, if you will, not necessarily a truth, but something to play with, which is the idea that everything that we perceive as reality is an elaborate dream comprised of illusions that are basically here to teach us important lessons. And sort of the John 3:16 of Course in Miracles is that nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. And what Course in Miracles presents as something to play with, some theory to work with, is that the only thing that is real, when they refer to nothing real can be threatened, the only thing that is real is love. That love is the binary of something versus nothing. And that love is everything that exists and it can't be threatened. Even when we see bad in the world, or we see bad things happen, or when bad things happen to us, they are really truly just the subject of our own elaborate dream. And we're always in a dream state. Now, I know that that is really difficult to swallow as a truth, but it could be something that we could play with for a while. And the first week, Course in Miracles, if I may describe what it is for just a moment, is a 365-day program where you're given a daily reading and a daily exercise. It shouldn't take, if it's something that you're interested in doing, it shouldn't take anybody any more than about 20 or 30 minutes a day to do. And anybody that's done it, who hears that you're thinking of doing it and you haven't done it yet, I've done it twice, is generally going to say you're about to have your mind blown. Your whole life's about to change. And while I definitely found that to be true, I'm going to try and sum up the first week of that for you in hopes that will help you understand at least where I come from when it comes to the concept of truth. And that is those exercises for the first week or two of that year of Course in Miracles is asking you to literally look at different objects in your room and realizing that you are projecting meaning onto literally everything and forming your own dream and your own illusions around every single thing you see. For instance, asking you to pick 5 random things in your room and ponder them for a minute about what they mean to you. And for me, I could just look over at something as simple and boring and basic as a light switch. And I could look over at the light switch, and in 1 minute's time, I can ponder my fear of the dark as a small child. And I can ponder how light switches in some cultures are on the outside of the room you're about to enter, or in the inside of the room that you're already in. Or I can ponder how there are sometimes 2 light switches for the same light in the same room, et cetera, et cetera. And I could go as deep or as superficial as I like about a light switch. But really, everything that I am thinking about that light switch has everything to do with me and my projections. This is true with our interactions with people. Every meaning that we assign to what people say to us, what people do to us, what we encounter with others is the product of our projections in the way that we perceive it. So that's always going on with everybody at all times. So what I would like to invite everyone to do for a while when it comes to pondering the concept of truth is just to become aware of that and nothing more. No judgment of it, no condemnation of it, and no shame about it. Really just have a look at any random thing in your life and think, what is the meaning that I assign to this? And how am I creating this object in my own sense of illusion and creating my own sense of reality with these projections that are meant to teach me lessons. So that's pretty much my talk on discerning truth. But the last thing I want to leave you with is something from another favorite teacher of mine, and that is Eckhart Tolle. And this isn't always the case, but it's something to kind of hold as a litmus test. Typically, you're going to have things that you think about a situation or a person or an object, and you're going to have things that emotions that you feel about a situation or a person or an object. And more often than not, but not always, it's your emotions that are going to be the ones that tell the truth. Emotions change all the time. So it's important to keep your consciousness focus on what your emotional state is at any time, because your concept of the truth is always going to be changing, but at least your emotions are pointing towards the truth rather than representing the truth itself.
Wow, that's really awesome. I'm looking forward to doing a little bit more of that for myself this week with you guys. I find it really interesting because in kind of the model that we work with, in the style of hypnosis that I practice, um, it's something like this. Something happens in your world, you perceive it with the senses, and then we have a thought about that, which is the meaning we apply to that thing that's happening. And then that leads to an emotion. And our emotions are there to provide energy for us to act in a satisfying way on that. So I think that the more we become aware of the ways we are applying meaning to things that happen and things that we perceive by our senses in the world, the more clarity we can have, the less tightly we can hold on to those meanings in case they're false, the more likely we are able to discern the truth of those meanings, whatever that means to us, and the more likely we are to be able to use the emotions that come out of that in a way that's actually satisfying to us. So I think that for our hypnotic meditation today, I really just want to invite everyone to really take some time for yourself to not only do what April suggested, just become a little bit more aware of the meaning, the thoughts that we have around certain things in our life and the meaning that is applied there. But take some time to go inward and do whatever it is for you that is that that allows you to go inward and access yourself. Maybe it's meditation, maybe it's self-hypnosis, maybe it's working with someone like April or I, intentionally one-on-one, um, to
And
help
I'd
us
like to
just
add
hold.
too, Tim, that that we do this, that we encourage you to do this now and start doing this now, because the way that things like artificial intelligence are going, we're going to become a lot more confused about what we're being presented as the truth all the time. And it's on us to start exercising immediately what this projection, this idea of projection, and this idea of the grasping the concept of truth. It's really important to start exercising this right away, exactly the way that Tim is describing, and in a way that is satisfactory to you.
Yeah, that's great. And one other thing, just to preface our hypnotic meditation here, there is this idea that April presented of holding the paradox, holding opposing truths. So you might find that you've had a thought about something in your life, or you've applied meaning to something in your life, but yet there's something else you find to be true about that might be opposite. Once you're able to kind of examine that. And I just want to invite everybody, myself included, to be a little bit more open to holding these opposing truths. And that's where I think, April, you said, you put it really well, like that's kind of where miracles happen is when we're able to hold this paradox, hold these opposing truths. And kind of like the elephant analogy too. Maybe if we can recruit that other perspective or other perspectives from other people, we might have a clearer idea of what is more true.
Right. Or at least what's true for them.
Right.
That's hard
So,
work.
yeah, big subject. But
30 minutes.
let's start with invitation then. So for you to, I'd like to invite you to sit comfortably, preferably with your spine straight and feet flat on the ground wherever you are. And in a moment here, I'm going to ask you to do a few things that will help lead us into a little bit of a deeper state of consciousness. Maybe help us get into a nice alpha brainwave state, maybe even a little theta brainwave state for this hypnotic meditation. So settle into a comfortable position, and I'd like you to focus on a spot on the wall that is just above your natural eye gaze. If you're outdoors, focus on something in your environment that's just above your natural eye gaze. And look something like this. And I'd like you to take in a deep breath. And as you do, I want you to focus in on that spot. Like really, really focus in and eagle eye that spot. Look at all the little detail, the shadow, all of the nuance of that one little spot. Just really focus in and take in another deep breath. As you exhale, look through that spot, and you might start to notice the corners of the room or things that are in your peripheral vision. And then when you're ready, just go ahead and close your eyes and start to relax. I want you to become aware of the surface beneath you, how it's supporting you. And as that awareness fades, you go even more deeply relaxed. And now I'd like you to relax your jaw. Just let any tension in your jaw go. Your jaw might hang open slightly. And as you do this, you start to slow your rate of breathing gradually. Just get into a gentle rhythm of slow, comfortable breath with a really long exhalation. Comfortable, slow rhythm of breathing. Good. And now I want you to relax your tongue, particularly the back of your tongue. This relieves your brain of any desire to speak right now. Frees your mind to have new thoughts or expansive thoughts. Just let your tongue rest in your mouth. And now I'm going to ask you to drop your consciousness into your heart, whatever that means to you. We often think about our consciousness in our head brain. I want you to now drop your consciousness into your heart. And as you do, you go even more deeply and comfortably relaxed. Again, bringing your attention to the feeling of the surface beneath you, supporting you, pushing up into your back. And as that awareness fades, you go even more deeply and even more comfortably relaxed. So now in this relaxed state, you have much more access to your subconscious mind. We're allowing our conscious mind to take a little break right now. And we're able to connect more deeply to our subconscious mind right now. So now what I'd like you to do in this state, I just want to invite you to sit for just a minute and just notice any area in your body that might want to be a little more relaxed and just let it go. That surface beneath you is perfectly supporting you. Gravity gently holding you to the chair, safe, secure, and comfortable right now. And like it, send a wave of relaxation all the way from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. 1, 2, Good. Take just a moment to settle in even further. I'm going to allow just a moment of silence. And know that the more often we can access this state, we're more able to access the deep resources in our own consciousness that are beyond the limited view of our conscious mind. Our conscious mind does such a good job of helping us focus on our day-to-day activities, make a living for ourselves, solve problems. The conscious mind loves to solve problems. We're not solving any problems right now. We're just allowing the conscious mind to take a little break. Again, the more you access this state, what you're feeling right now, the stronger our connection to our subconscious minds can become, the more easily we can recognize the meaning that we apply to things in our life. So right now, I want you to take your attention to something that has occurred in your life that is external, something external telling you how to think or feel about yourself. Maybe it's something on social media, maybe it's something on TV, maybe it's a commercial. Something comes to mind right now where somebody or something is telling you how to think about yourself. And if nothing comes to mind right now, that's just fine. We have all kinds of stimuli coming in via our conscious mind every day, trying to influence us on how to think about ourselves. So right now, a thought comes to mind around that occurrence, something you thought about yourself as a result. And I want you to really examine what you were thinking, what that made you think. The voice in your head might have said something to you. What did that voice say? And now I want to invite you to do this as often as you would like. Anytime anything comes into your awareness where you feel like something is trying to influence the way you're thinking about yourself. And know that you have this capacity to stop and gain a little bit of an awareness of what you're thinking at that time. And know that that is somewhat of a meaning that you're applying. And with hypnosis and by accessing the subconscious mind, we can begin to shift the meaning. Now, that thought that you have, what you were thinking, might lead to a feeling, might have led to an emotion. And that's okay. We're just going to look right now at what you were thinking. And I'd like you to now think about what the opposite of that thought might be. Maybe it had you thinking something that you might perceive as bad about yourself or bad about someone else. What might be the opposite thought there? And know that both are true. And as you hold these two thoughts in your mind together, what you were thinking at the time, and maybe what might be the opposite thought, know that the more we can hold two opposing truths in our mind, the more likely we are to hold our beliefs a little more loosely about what is true for us. And you start to realize the importance of holding those beliefs a little more loosely. You might find yourself this week, upon examining thoughts like this, to have a little bit less of an opinionated stance. your opinions might become a little more loose as your beliefs are held a little more loosely. Just opening your mind to an alternate possibility, especially if you're having a thought about yourself that is self deprecating, negative self talk, we call it. So this week, if you find yourself saying something to yourself that you would never say to a loved one, I want to invite you to stop, take a moment, become aware of that thought, and think of what the opposite thought might be. So this week, I invite you to sit as often as you'd like, daily, relax your body, relax your nervous system. You can use some of the tools that I provided at the beginning of this hypnosis meditation to help you sink into a state where your nervous system is relaxed. You're able to access the deeper resources of your subconscious mind. And just feel right now what it feels like to be in this state of relaxed and focused awareness. Probably feels really good to your body. Focus in on what that feels like in your body right now. And again, if there's any part of your body right now that wants to relax a little further, just let it go. And as you do, the deeper you go, the better you feel. And if you'd like to stabilize this feeling here, I'd like you now to take your thumb and forefinger and just gently rub them together. And as you do, your awareness comes back to your body in the way this very pleasant, relaxed, focused awareness feels in your body. And as you rub your thumb and forefinger together, you're helping to create a connection in your brain, classical conditioning. So next time you wouldn't have feel this feeling in your body or go back into this relaxed and focused state, all you'll need to do is rub your thumb and forefinger together and it will help you get into this state even quicker. I'd like you to take in a deep breath now. Continue to rub your forefinger and your thumb together. And as you do, your awareness comes back to your body and the feeling in your body of this relaxed and focused state. Now go ahead and stop rubbing your thumb and forefinger together. In a moment, I'm going to count from 3 back to 1. And when I get to 1, you'll come back to conscious awareness, fully alert, feeling better than before. 3, coming back now. 2, your awareness coming back to the surface beneath you. And you're feeling of your feet on the floor, maybe moving your toes a little bit. And 1, opening your eyes and feeling better than before. Thanks for joining me for this hypnotic meditation.
Just awesome, Tim. And I
Well, I hope
want
it's
to,
helpful for everybody.
oh, yeah, I have no doubt it will be. And I want to bring forward a comment that we got from our regular watcher, our regular viewer, our very dear Bear. It's a
Hi,
minefield.
Bear.
Hi, Bear. I get the concept of the emotions being a more reliable map to the truth than the thoughts, but sometimes my mind will disguise itself as a feeling, and then I'm even more confused. And I want to just highlight something that Tim continually brings forward in his meditation, which is he keeps saying in the body, in the body. And a lot of the science of hypnosis has to do with repetition. So these are words that Tim says an awful lot. And the reason why that is because our body has a greater access and can tell us a lot more wisdom about our emotions than our thoughts can. So if you have a situation in which your thoughts are disguising themselves as feelings, ask your body to come in and help you tell the difference. Because if you're feeling different sensations in your body That's probably going to give you greater clues to your emotional state than what your thoughts are going to tell you about your emotional state. I hope that that's helpful. Tim, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
No, I think that's great. And our emotions, I believe our emotions are there to, provide impetus for us to act in a satisfying way. We have possibly an unmet need, want, or desire there if it's an unpleasant emotion. Um, so you might also, if you examine an unpleasant emotion, you might also think about um, what might be an unmet need, want, or desire there. And there's a lot more to that that we can help you with in sorting that out too.
Yeah, definitely. So, by all means, we want to always be available to you in the work that we offer. My my particular line of work is counseling. I offer sacred space to work with you one on one, with you and your partner, with a group of you and your friends, with your company or organization to offer deep listening and reflection. And I also offer the side benefit of being an experienced dream worker, meaning that I can help you discern meaning from your dreams and help you dive deeper into a dream journaling and dream interpretation practice. Tim, what is it that you have to offer? I know, but you tell us.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I in the my link for setting up a consultation with me is in the I offer one-on-one hypnosis sessions. If you have a something in your life that you would like to change, or something that you feel like you ought to be doing but can't bring yourself to do, this is an awesome case for hypnosis. If you're having a feeling that you can't sort out, um, I'm here to help.
Absolutely. We each have our links in the description for an opportunity to book a free initial appointment with either one of us. So, but if there's any curiosity whatsoever into what it might be like to work with either one of us, you don't have to stay curious. You can satisfy that curiosity instantly by booking an appointment at your leisure, at your convenience on either of our calendars. Thank you for being with us today. I want to close today's moment by simply reading the four agreements to you, because I feel that the work of the Rees family is really informational about the idea and the concept of truth. And that is to always do your best, be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, and don't make assumptions. All of those with really great implications for how we grasp and deal with truth. Again, those are always do your best, be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, and don't make assumptions. If you're able to hold those suggestions in your work that Tim suggested that you try in the coming days and start practicing, those will really help you with that loose grasp of the truth and really help you to see where it is that you're projecting your own feelings and reality onto a world that may not match up with what you believe to be true. And if you need any help, we're always here for you. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next Sunday.